Going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 76 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today, I welcomed an Italian drummer, producer, artist, mix and master engineer. His name is Eli6. I connected with him, I believe, back in the springtime. He submitted one of his songs called Backpack, which just made the Gifted Unorthodox Spotify playlist that we have going. And this week I was able to get him on the show. Man, this was a really energetic episode. I loved his take on a lot of different topics. We talked about his journey going to Berkeley to learn how to produce and mix, and eventually he picked up English when he moved to London and has slowly been learning more American slang and everything to put in his music, and I enjoyed hearing about that. It's been over a 10-year journey for him. We talked about one of his recent relationships that kind of had a falling out where someone asked him for his mixing chain, and he kind of explains why he didn't end up doing that for that person. And I actually enjoyed his take on that, so you'll hear that in the episode. And we also talked about his attraction to bass and drum and where that came from, and how Italian music, and I believe British music as well, mostly UK music, has inspired him a lot to kind of morph his sound into his own thing and what he's doing now. I really just appreciate his attention to detail. You know, he talks a lot in this episode about not skipping any steps, really taking your time to make songs that are of quality and that are going to be impactful and really hit people the way they're supposed to. And now that he's starting his own label and signing artists, I think it's going to be very cool for him to get a lot of other new artists involved as well and get their voices out there too. So I wish him all the best, and I appreciate his time today, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's a bit of a longer episode, but I think it's worth the wait. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 76 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. This is the Creator Series. Today, we have a really incredible artist, engineer, producer, drummer, all the way from Italy. Eli6 is here. How are you, man?
Yeah, man. What's up? All good here. Nice chatting with you.
Yes, sir. And like I said, I'm glad you could join me, take some time out of your day. I'm very interested to get to know a little bit more about you today and have, you share a little bit of your story. So to start out, we basically just have the guests give a little bit of background, how you got into music, how long you've been doing it, your name, where that came from, all that good stuff.
All right. So basically, thank you for having me as a guest of your show first. And yeah, basically, when I was a kid, my literally 2-3 years old, so very long time ago, my mother used to sing all the time because she was a singer in an opera. She was a singer and an actress, and she used to sing all the time. So I was listening to this music and I loved it. Then I started hitting boxes with kitchen stuff, basically with forks and stuff. And then I thought maybe I should play some drum or something. And my father had the idea to buy me like a little shitty drum kit, the ones made of plastic. And I was playing all the time. And then I realized I like to play, to make rhythm, to play the rhythm basically. And from there I started playing, and now it's like, I think it's 16, 17 years I've been studying and playing drums. And I was just doing that since I found this guy from a metal band called the Dillinger Escape Plan. They split up now, and I'm sorry for them, but they were like crazy good to me. I mean, for me, they were like the craziest players around. And the drummer was sick, and I found out that he studied at Berkeley College of Music. And he graduated there, so I just checked, and it was the best college in the world, basically. And I was like, wow, I want to try to go there. So I tried, I applied for the first time, and I got rejected because I wasn't good enough. So I was like, then I tried again because I wanted to go there. So I started a bit more, and I got accepted. I went there and studied. It was crazy, and I learned about producing and sound design there because I had this friend of mine that was making drum and bass. And then I thought, if I can make my own sounds and play the drums and record them and mix them and master them, that's the goal. I think I get, because you have the power. You're like the music god or something. You have to be good, of course, but if you have the passion, you can learn a lot of stuff. And then I started producing. Maybe the first stuff was the ugliest, worst sounding music you can imagine, like the one that sounds like farts and burps, like shit. And then I learned pretty. I was quick because I was doing that all the time. Like nighttime, daytime, I was just, if I wasn't playing drums or working, I was just creating sounds and stuff. And I thought, because my last name is Eli6 in Italian, doesn't mean anything. It's just Eli6. So I thought, say, the last part means 6 in Italian. Like say, it's 6. So I was like, Eli6. That's easy. That's the easiest thing I could think of. And I just used it as a nickname, as an artist name. And I started making like dance, dubstepy, drum and bassy kind of music, but it was a bit it wasn't sounding that good because I didn't know how to make like crazy sounds and stuff. So I kept doing it since I realized that the genre I was really loving was like hip hop, because when I was a kid I used to dance and sing in a fake English my favorite song. Like I bought, like, my first present. One of my first presents was the Marshall Mathers CD, the first one, back in the, I don't know, 2000 something. I don't remember. I can't remember. And I loved it, but I couldn't understand a single word. To me, the best song was the only one that I understood was the one about the blowjob, this blowjob sound, and to me that was just like, yeah, that's it. And but then I love the music and the American culture and movies and stuff, so I started learning and studying in the linguistic school. And I picked up some of the English. Then I went to Boston for the Berklee College of Music, as I said. Then I moved to London to play drums in a hardcore punk band. And then I learned English better. I mean, people can't understand me. So, I mean, for now, it's good. Mm-hmm. For now, it's good. And I'm studying American slang and music slang, because the music slang is a bit a mix of the American slang plus some of the English, so British sounds mixed together. That it needs to sound musical. Mm-hmm. So I started learning, and now I can tell that my compared to the old stuff that I used to sing, now it sounds a bit better. It sounds better than the first stuff. That's it, basically. Mm-hmm. And that was like my life in I don't know, 2-3 minutes, something.
Yeah, that was a great summer, and you covered a lot of bases too, honestly. And it's kind of cool to see that, you know, you just stayed persistent with this so long that now it's like it's starting to pay off. I think for you, you're finally starting to find like your sound and everything after all that work. Yeah. So
it came recently, I have to say, because the thing that pushes me all the time is that I'm never 100% satisfied with the sound and the level. I just want to grow, because the best of the best that is around, it sounds perfect, and I know that my stuff, it sounds good, but it doesn't sound like them. So I wanted to push my limits. I want to just to arrive to the professional level. And if you love the music, and if you want to, you can reach it. It's because to me, it's not like I have to do it. It's a job. I need to study. No, to me it's fun because it's what I like. So I can stay like 5-6 hours with my headphones or singing and stuff. And after a while, I get like death because you should take breaks all the time. Like every hour, you should take like a 15 minutes break or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your ears get a bit rusty, a bit like tired. But I'm like just into that all the time. So sometimes I'm like 5 hours, my eyes turn like bloody red. Like I look like I was smoking weed, which I used to do, and I'm doing it sometimes. So but it's fun. It's fun because it as you said, it pays off.
Mm-hmm. I feel you there, though. I feel like sometimes it's like 10 hours a day I have the headphones on. I'm like, I should probably go outside and, like, breathe the fresh air. Like, because this is not healthy most of the time, just sit in front of a computer all day and just be locked in. But it's like, sometimes I don't think we can help that. It's like, if you're in the zone, you're like, I got to get this done. I got to, like, do this. And, like, if you're really
That's
into
why
it.
I quit because of that, because I wasn't finishing my tasks. I was just playing around and thinking too much, and I need to be focused. When I have to party, of course, it's fine. But when I need to stay focused, like if I smoke, I'm losing it. I'm just. And plus, when you compose it, you make stuff, and you're high, everything sounds amazing. But then when you listen to it the morning after, you're like, this is pointless. It doesn't. It's just rubbish. But yeah, it's part of the fun, I guess.
So I'm curious then, obviously, you know, you drum, you produce, you do all this stuff, right? Is there anything that's like your favorite to do? Like, do you enjoy mixing and mastering the most? Do you enjoy recording the most? Is there not really a preference? Do you just love them all equally? Like, where are you at with that?
Let's say what I love the most, because as a drummer, making like the beats, the rhythm, the rhythmic section of a new track, like I like that, and the bass. Like I can make like alright songs with amazing like huge fat beat, because to me the bass and drums are like connected. It's just the energy, the soul of a song. So if that doesn't work, the song is gonna be, unless you do, I don't know, ambient or relaxing or jazz stuff. But if it needs to be powerful, the bass and the drums are like mom and dad. They're like the same. And I love making basses because when I was in London, I used to go to these drum and bass events with like artists like Noisia. I don't know if you know them. It's like the craziest drum and bass trio from Netherlands. They to me or like, I don't know, FX Twin or Amon Tobin or some of the Skrillex as well. Like the huge bass sounds that were when I was in Berkeley, that was the trend, you know, dubstep and drum and bass. And to me that the bass, if it's big, it can just lift the whole track up. So to me, I really like to design and create basses on Ableton all the time. I don't have any analog equipment yet because I'm planning to buy some stuff, but it's expensive. So I'm just to make as much as possible on software, on plugins. But if you know how to treat them well with the right tools and plugins, they start sounding like they're real, like they're coming from the analog word instead of digital. But it took me like at least, I don't know, 8 years to craft the sound I had in my mind. Because the thing is, if you can translate what you have in your mind in reality, that's the goal. To me, it's like the best thing you can achieve.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned about the bass, too, because I know, like, I think I've heard somewhere that as like humans in general, when it comes to music, we're always attracted to the bass because of like I think it has to do with when you're in the womb, like the heartbeat or something. Like it's something about the frequencies of the bass that like we're always attracted to. So it's like that gets people like you just said, it's like that lifts the track up, that gets people like involved no matter what it is. So it's like
Yeah,
if you can do that correctly and just create that feeling, like you got them. Like you got them hooked probably. So
yeah, yeah. Because it's the energy. Let's say in terms of sound, the bass and the drums are the fundamental of the energy from any track, and they are coming from the center, from let's say from your chest.
mm-hmm.
That you can feel them here. They're not coming from here, but you feel them here. And if this energy, it's sounding pretty good, and it's coming right against you, you can feel the energy inside your body, and that moves you. If you have a beat, like a nice rhythm, plus the energy of the bass stick together, they they just they're like they can make you move. If something makes you move, it works.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And the bass and the drums are the main, to me, are the most important ones. And for example, in some clubs, the bass is so loud that you can feel like the subwoofers and stuff are so loud that you can feel like your organs shake inside your body, and that's a bit. In that case, a bit. I remember I was in Boston. And I went to the Excision concert. This dubstep god.
Mm-hmm.
That he used to make he has the record for the loudest track on earth or something. It's like insane volume. I mean, the volume is like you cannot push it because the roof, the maximum is 0 dB is the maximum you can reach, and it has to be a little bit dynamic. He was just a square, just 100% volume all the time. And when I was there, I remember because he had this projector, 3D projector showing like a robot moving in time with the song and stuff. And the whole thing crashed during the concert in Boston, House of Blues 2012, because it was too loud. And the thing collapsed basically because it was the speakers and the projector shaked too much and just they crashed. And it was like, that might be a little bit too much in that case, but I loved it. I used to enjoy that kind of sound pressure, so it was fun as well.
It's funny you mentioned that because my brother just went to Lost Lands, which is his festival in Ohio. He just came back from there like last week, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I totally like agree. I think that the bass has always been a huge part, and even now you see in like hip hop, like you talked about how it's transitioned to hip hop. It's like when trap became a big thing, they took 808s and they kind of like morphed them and changed the bass to make like a different type of sound to fit that style as well. So it's like the bass has always been a thing, and it's become more really until the last 10 years, since probably like 2010. It's just been a bass craze and all these different genres. You know what I mean? So I think it's just like,
and we can't go back. We can't go back now. That's a standard. Like if you have no bass in a song, you're like, that's weak.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know. Totally. Yeah.
Very interesting stuff. So obviously, you're back in Italy, right, after this huge journey that you've been on and everything. So now you're in Italy. Is there anyone that you've been collaborating with, or maybe that you've been thinking about collaborating with, that you're kind of like, you really enjoy their music or you really enjoy their style and the energy they're putting out right now?
So let's say that as a producer, I have the chance to work with to work for a lot of artists and local ones, and I don't know, people because I live in Umbria, which is in the center of Italy. I work with people from the north, from the south, and when I found when I find someone that I really like, that I think this guy, it's if I was like him, his age, I would have been like I don't know, rich now, because I see a lot of potential from, especially from young people, because I started pretty late compared to the young producers now. So I see a lot of potential in these young kids. I mean, I'm 30. I'm talking about, I don't know, 16, 17 years old people. And once I met this guy that was following, he was following me on Instagram, and he just messaged me, and he showed me some of his stuff, and I was like, wow. Like I was amazed by this guy, and I asked him to be a feature in one of my tracks, and we started this friendship until last month, that he asked me, because he is a singer and a producer, but I think he's better at singing, and he asked me for the mixing chain that I applied on his voice. And I'm pretty jealous about this stuff, because it took me like 10 years to learn some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm polite and educated, but I just said, I'm not giving you the chain, because I mean it doesn't make any sense to me, because you cannot apply to any voice or any sound. Every sound has its different sound and its different characteristic, and you have to use different tools in different presets, different programs, plugins, equalizers, compressors, and stuff. So it's like it doesn't work. It's not like a recipe. There are some basics, but each voice and each sound needs a different treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I gave them to him,
it wouldn't be the same.
To me,
it wouldn't be the same. Yeah.
And plus, that's to me, it's like, nah, that's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're friends, but you're young. You should learn. Like, I can help you. I can give you the tools. I can give you suggestions and advices, and I can tell you some secrets. But I'm not sharing the whole chain, the effects chain. Like, for me, sometimes it takes me like an hour and a half, because I'm not like a super pro. So I want to understand and find new ways to have a certain sound. So if I'm just, the time that I wasted trying to mix voices, it's like, I don't know, man, a lot of time. Mm-hmm. So I'm a bit jealous about that. I'm the most open-minded person in the world, but sometimes I would like the people to hustle a bit, because it's easy when you have the thing, just take it, and it's yours.
Yep.
Have to, because you will never learn if you just steal the things. Mm-hmm. You need a path. To me, that's my idea. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. So I said no, and we don't talk to each other since then. Mm. But it's all right, because it's a lesson. I'm teaching a lesson here.
I mean, and the thing about it is, it's like he's coming to you for that thing that you offer. So it's like you have all the right to tell him no, in my opinion, because you, like you just said, you put in the years to learn mixing and do all this stuff and get really good at it.
Yeah.
If he just wants to do that, it's like, well, not only are you not going to learn anything yourself and figure out how to do it yourself, but you're just taking someone else's thing and applying it and being like, oh, this is my thing now. It's like, it's really not your thing, it's their thing, and they worked hard for it. The thing about it is, it's like,
go.
I was just going to say, like, I feel like a big thing, especially with the younger people, like you were talking about, is like everyone wants the shortcut, but no one wants to just put in. No one wants to just put in the hours and the consistency it takes to actually do it. It's like that has always separated the people that are going to be doing this for a long time from the people that aren't going to last that long. Is just you got to actually put in the work yourself when no one else is going to do it for you, and then you'll
Yeah.
see, where you're going to end up. So, but
And another thing is that I finished my production and sound design school. I mean, everything I've done, I I had to work to pay lessons, renting, food, and everything. And the easiest job for me was like I was a waiter for like 10 years or something. I was 18 since 2 years ago, since 28. I was just working nighttime. Then I was making music from like, I don't know, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. And then waking up sometime, making 1 hour music, and then going back to work. And I hated that. Like being a waiter, man, is I don't know if you can relate, but it's, I think, one of the worst jobs in, I don't know, it's one of the worst ones, because when people it's starving, when they are hungry, the brain is not connected. They just want to eat. So that you're like a slave or something, and it's frustrating because plus in Italy, it doesn't work like, for example, in England. Everyone was polite, like in a fancy restaurant. Everyone is polite and educated. Please, thank you all the time, and you should be like that everywhere. But in most of places, especially in Italy, people, it's rude. They're rude, man. They're just so rude, and you're like, I want to do music. Why I'm doing this? Oh, to pay the rent, to pay the lessons, to become a musician. Okay, that makes sense. So that's the thing that the music pushed me all the time, because otherwise I was just wasting time. And I remember once I broke my hand, like the bones here, and because of a punch, that just some stupid stuff, and I had this how do you call it when you have the hard thing, the white hard thing?
A cast.
The cast, yeah.
Cast.
And this cast that it smelled so bad because you can't open it and watch it. So it was this thing I was just pushing it away from my nose, and I couldn't work with that stuff because it's illegal. Like, you have to stay home. But if I stay home for a month and a half, I cannot pay the rent. And plus, I'm one of those persons who's like, I'm not asking my parents because I want to do it myself. It's like it's exciting because I'm pushing the limit. So I asked the owner, the boss, to allow me to work with this thing, and he was like, yeah, let's do it, because he was in trouble with the fastest, because my colleagues. They were like 4 waitresses. They were a bit not as fast as me, let's say. So I was the fastest one, and so he needed me. So I worked with this thing. I remember once I was holding this bowl of pasta, seafood pasta with clams and mussels and stuff. And while I was giving one of the dishes to one of the person, the other one on my broken hand, it just fell, and all the stuff just fell on the heart. No. That smelled bad, but it was even worse than that, man. It was like, and I was like, oh, and the guy wanted it. Like what was left on the plate, he just had it. It was like, yeah, I'll take it. I was like, okay. That was, man, crazy stuff. So when I finished that, and I'm finally working most of the time, like I'm doing like a little part-time job in the morning, and from 2 p.m. since nighttime, I'm just making music. So it's better because now it's not a full-time job; it's a part-time job, and I opened a record label by myself, last week, so everything is moving toward the direction I want instead of doing. But yeah, and so if I hustled for like 10 years, I literally had to eat a lot of shit because of that job, and so I'm not giving you the secrets, man. No way, no way, no way.
Yeah, he's gotta experience it for himself, you know what I mean? And everyone's journey is totally different, so it's like you gotta go through those things to really get to that point. It's like if you just start trying to get things from different people, it's just not gonna work for you. I don't know what else to tell people other than that, but that's a crazy story, man. That is a wild story.
Like, man, I have so many, man. I have so many stories. You can't. I have literally pages full of stories, like the craziest stories you can imagine, like insane amount of stories. Like I don't know why, for some reason, I have this thing that I attract like human cases, like crazy people. I attract like all sort of situation and crazy people, and that's funny when you tell the story, but when you live it, it's sometimes it's weird, it's but it's still fun. It's fun. So I'm putting a bit of that in each song. I just try to put a bit of a funny story because I have so many, man. I'm looking forward to share them with the world. Everything I live, because some stuff it's insane. Like the guy that used to live with me in Boston, like one of my roommates, he used to. I'm not gonna say the name or something. I'm just telling you the story. This guy, I was sleeping once, and I heard animal noises in the house, and I was like, what's happening? And they were coming from the bathroom, and I checked, and this guy was with his laptop speaking with his girlfriend in Europe, and they were talking to each other using animal sounds. Like they were understanding each other using animal noises, like the fuck. I was like, that's how can you, like, that's a skill. That's a skill I want to learn. I'm not gonna use it ever, but that's a pretty nice skill. Like for example, I was like, man, what you doing? Like, no, nothing. I'm talking with my girlfriend because I heard pigs and dogs from my room. You know, it's just crazy, but it's fun. It's fun.
You're gonna have to put all this in a book one day, man.
Like I have the just the name of the story, and just the names are like 4 pages. The full stories you can make a book or a collection for sure, like 100%. And they're funny. Funny as hell.
You might have to do one day, like put out like an album and be like, oh, I also have a book that goes with it. All these stories in this book, like people would eat that up for real. That would be great. So, in the last like year or so, you know, obviously there's been like the pandemic and everything and all this stuff going on.
Pandemic? What you talking about?
Yeah, what am I talking about? Who knows? Who's heard of that? But for you personally, has there been like anything you've had to kind of overcome, like a big challenge or maybe like a hurdle that's kind of been in the way of you kind of still being creative and still putting out music, or has there not really been anything that big for you?
I started producing others and selling beats. The first week of the pandemic, just literally the first week, because everyone was home, they had nothing to do, and I was like, I started from there. Literally, it's funny because it was like a good year. Like I had the first engagement, and I met a lot of people, and I started making a lot of stuff, and I paid my rent with beats and stuff online, just smart working, And most of people were like so frustrated because they couldn't go out, and I was like, I don't have an excuse to go out anymore. I'm just making this. No, of course I enjoy to go out, but I just used it and an excuse to focus on what I wanted to do. So I just and now as I told you last week, I connected with this guy. He makes like the most underground and I don't know. You know that we have these kind of places in the summertime where they make like the town, which can be, I don't know, for example, black truffle. You know, the black truffle, the thing that you just, the sauce that you make with the black truffle when you just cook it with olive oil and blah, blah, blah. So they had this festival, the Black Truffle Festival, let's say, where you go there, you pay like 10 euros or something, and you eat like a huge amount of really good truffle. And it's mostly for families and old people, because there's nothing to do for young people. It's just eating and chatting, but it's mostly, I don't know, old people. And they put the music for the elderly people, and they start dancing, and they have these dance groups where they it's just all right. It's I will be like them one day, like we will be like them, but not now. So it's just boring and lame. So and the music, this guy makes that kind of music. Like it's a sort of Latin pop with the worst sounds ever, like the worst productions ever, but with the catchy clap sometime and a fake saxophone sound. That kind of like the worst of the worst to me. Maybe someone likes it, but to me it's the lowest possible in music production. And he makes that kind of stuff. But the funny thing is that he has this crazy studio, like it's built underground, 2.5 meters underground, with the most expensive wood and rocks and the most expensive gear. So it's crazy good, and he uses it for this kind of music. So I met him, and I said, because he doesn't work that much. He has few customers, mostly, the accordion. Yeah, he makes that kind of music. It's a lot from the Italian culture and from the European, and you can hear a lot of East European music having the same sounds, with the accordion, flutes, and some drums made with the cows' leathers. They kind of very, very characteristic from a European place, but it's nothing that you can hear on the charts, on I don't know, on radio. And so I just said, what if I work with you in studio? I bring you like young people, young artists that want to go on the charts in Italy and I don't know, outside that, like fresh music, let's say. What if I bring you fresh music and a lot of people and contacts? And it was like he thought about it. Then he was like, yeah, let's see what happens. So basically, I offered him to create a small label under his label. So his label, he produces that kind of music. Mine is the fresh side of the label, with a different name, which is it sounds better. It's like Sixth Age Record from Eli6, instead of Art Spoletium, which comes from Latin and it sounds just ancient. It sounds old to me. So I was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. So I made the website and the pages and everything, and then now I'm gathering the artists that want to be on the label. But the rule is this, because I made it. So if your music, if your sound, it's good enough, it sounds professional. Okay, if it sounds a bit, if it needs a bit of a kick, a bit of a push, I can help you, and we can be together. But if you want to keep your sound and you want to be on my label, you're going to be rejected because of the standards. Because I want to offer a catalog that the sound quality it's high and it gets higher all the time. Because the gear in the studio is crazy, so I want to just use it. I want to make the best out of it. Why should I just leave the silly, lame, crappy sounds? I want professional sounds. So it's always improving. And I said to people that they collaborated with me before, and I said, we can collaborate together. I can help you with sound. You're not going to pay me crazy amounts of money, just a little bit to be on the label, because I'm not offering like crazy deals. I'm going to give you like cards and I'm just offering you the possibility to be on the catalog, on the label. That's it. But the main, like the motto, the catchphrase is we care about sound. That's it, because I care. It's the most important thing to me. So it has to sound good, of course. No one wants to hear the best music. Imagine if Billie Jean was mixed on the worst sounding consoles, and like it was like it's impossible. It's the hit songs are there because they are perfect in terms of songwriting, singing, instruments, and mixing and mastering. So I'm not saying that I'm the best mixer, but I want to get there.
Yeah,
I want to get there. That's the goal.
Yeah, it's just that attention to detail, honestly, and I think a lot of people overlook the attention to detail. It's like they want to skip all the steps, like we just talked about earlier. It's like people just want to skip the steps it takes. It's like if you really put the time in and the work in, it's gonna pay off in the long run. You just even if you don't see it at the beginning, it's like when you get to the end, you're like, that's awesome. Like what we just did was awesome. Like we took our time, we made this song great, we made this album great, whatever you're making. And it's like there's no better feeling than that. To me.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I love that, man. That's awesome. So, last few questions here before we wrap up. I ask these questions to every guest, so we'll see what you got for me. If you could go back 10 years ago, maybe give yourself a piece of advice or maybe not change anything at all, what do you think you would do?
I would just the Berkeley experience was one of the best experiences of my life. But I went there as a drummer, and I play drums, but it's not my main focus. Like I don't want to be the craziest, fastest drummer. I want to make just tight rhythms to fit on modern productions. I don't want to be like the drum guru or something. So, and plus that was like $60,000 one year. It's like a lot of money, especially if you can have them. Because I don't know if you can see, but I have a scar from this side of my face because when I was 2 years old, my mother crashed with a car and I just fell on the broken glasses. And you know the Batman's villain, the Two Faces, one that has the I was exactly like that, like the half normal and half Freddy Krueger. Like I was, but they did a great job in the hospital. And when I grew, because I was a kid, so I grew up and my face stretched, and it's not noticeable anymore. And because of that, the insurance gave me a lot of money when I was a kid. And with those money, I decided to go to Berkeley. I'm not saying that I wasted them, but if I knew that I wanted to do production and sound design and mixing and mastering, maybe I would have used them differently or in a different way, because it's most of the stuff that I dealing now is about mixing like the smallest details, the smallest stuff on compression, voices, and blah blah blah. And you can tell the difference from an amateur production and a professional production. And maybe now I would have said I would have choose a different path, so more focused on production and sound instead of drumming, which I really love. But you can be a drummer and study different stuff. But before I wanted to be a drummer. I wasn't sure about that. I love it, but it's not what I want to do. To me now, production is like when you can translate what you have in your brain in sound. As I said before, I'm like ecstasy, man. I'm just paradise. I'm going crazy. I'm flying.
So if we flip it then, 10 years from now, where do you think you envision yourself in your career and in your life?
If I don't die, I would be like I want to be like a professional producer that mixes and sings his own stuff. Like there are a lot of people. Like this guy called Russ. He's a rapper that he makes like a song. Like he used to do like a song a week. Now it's like one song each month, and they sound good. He raps good. So maybe. And I also want to focus on my singing, on slang, because I'm not satisfied yet. So I want to just try to have the whole package, which is harder because I've so many things together. But if you want to, you can achieve that. Plus, I forgot. I wasted so much money on weed, man. Like when I was in Berkeley, I used to smoke. I don't know, like $300 a month, which is not that much. But if you have stuff to do, you end up smoking like a gram a day, which is sometimes it's. I mean, I like it, but it's useless when you have to accomplish something. And still in London. When I was making music, I was smoking all the time, smoking weed all the time, because the smell it smells nice. It's good, it's nice, but it slows me down too much. And now I'm realizing it. Like now I know that if I've been wasting so much time and so much money, like I could be rich. Because I wasted plus in Italy it's more expensive because you don't have plans. It's not legal in some states, so you just have to sneak these things, and they're not even the best of the best, and you just waste. And you're wasting money. So the biggest regret maybe is the time and the money that I spend on drugs. It's just you just take your money and your time and just throw it away. Free, just take it. I don't need it, and that's stupid.
Yeah.
Because time is the only thing you can buy back. It's just gone. Time is gone, and it's maybe it's one of the biggest. I always think about time because now that I'm 30, I'm realizing that the day is only 24 hours, and I have to sleep at least 6 hours, at least, because otherwise I can do stuff properly during the day. And you have 18 hours left, and sometimes it's not enough. Like I wish the days were like 50 hours a day, because sometimes, man, you have no idea. I have so many. Plus, when I don't smoke, I'm like this. I speak like crazy, maybe too much, and I have thousands of ideas. I want to do that. I want to learn that. I want to start doing that, and you don't have time. So less wasting of time is better to me. And now I know for sure that I've been wasting so much time. That's the thing.
Yeah. So, do you have any final words of wisdom today for the listeners?
it's the stuff that Michael Jordan and all the biggest you stand, even if I'm no one, but it's like the rule to me is like, if you really want something, you fight for it and you just wanna do it for the rest of your life, you can achieve it. And it's not gonna be like, it's not gonna be a waste of time, because it's, if you like something and you do it for the rest of your life, I think you're done. Like, it's not like having kids and family and blah, blah, blah. To me, it's like, if you find what you love and you do it for the rest of your life, you can die. Life, it's complete. The mission is complete. That's the thing. So if you follow your dream and you believe in your dream, that's the thing. Nothing else. That's the most important thing to me. And yeah,
absolutely, I love that, man.
You have someone who you can relate with. Someone like, you need a friend or a girlfriend or a person that believes in you. And if you find someone that believes in you and you believe in this person, and it pushes you to reach your to overcome, like, past your limits and stuff, you're done. I don't know, but I think that's the goal to me. Yeah. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, though, honestly. And I feel like you got to think about the amount of people that don't even try for that type of thing too. So it's like, I like you just said, it's like, if you're just trying to do that and do what you love, it's like, that's what life is all about. So it's like, you gotta. It's, I think people overthink that type of thing. It's like, it's really not that difficult. It's just finding a purpose for yourself, doing your best to help others. That's why we're here in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff to do. If you never give up, there's basically, you can find, there are so many niches, so many stuff you can do. Like you don't like sports, you don't like cinema, you don't like music. You're gonna find, you like girls, you like guys. There is something that you like, because otherwise you're a robot. Come on, there should be something.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, I think you can relate. People are saying all the time, like, especially where I live here in this small town in Italy, because it's so small, people is always judged. They don't do nothing. Like, they don't do nothing instead of eating and all the stuff. They don't live, and they judge you all the time. So if they're gonna judge you anyway, just do what you like. If they don't agree, who cares? Because I used to worry about it, because I come from this place, but you just don't listen and live your life, because it's one. It should be one. I think it's one. Maybe after some months, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's a great way to close this, man. That's all I have for you today. I appreciate you joining me, man, giving all that great advice, giving all the great stories, man. I didn't even know half the stuff about you, man, and I was glad to finally get to know you a little bit more, and, maybe we could do a part 2 of this eventually. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, man, if we organize, I'm gonna tell you one of the best crazy stories I have, just for fun, like 10 minutes. I'm gonna share the craziest stories I had. I'm gonna just tell you them, because you need to know what happens in Italy, or what happened to me. That's some crazy stuff. Anyway, that would be like awesome. Or anyway, just talking and sharing my experiences with you in the show. That was great, man.
Thanks everyone for listening today. That was episode 76. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit the support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send any funds. Feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So until then, we'll see you guys. Thanks very much.